All right, everyone. Good morning. Let me know where you're joining from. It is, oh, look at my hair. Good. It's our hearing God moment. It's our emotional well-being time of mindfulness. I'm Pastor Paul. Let me know where you're joining from. Always love to hear your place and where you're investing yourself so we can share that together. So I'm glad you're here today. I'm Pastor Paul Swearingen, known as Pastor Paul on TikTok. I'm glad you're with me today. So let me know where you're joining from. And in just a few minutes, we'll start our time of just mindfulness together. So glad you're with me. Sorry, I'm looking for something online here. I need to turn on my music. Lebanon, Indiana says hello. Hi, Lebanon, Indiana. Very cool. All right. Let's settle in together. Hi, Wisconsin. How are you? So I'm going to talk about a little bit about original sin and why you are not a sinner, no matter how much evangelical Christians try to tell you you are. And I'm so tired of them telling people that they are. I think it's a really bad and dangerous theology. It doesn't do a lot of good to anybody. Hi, Fishers, Indiana. We got Indiana in the house today. All right. So I'm going to light a candle because I think the flame and the smoke represents the presence of God. Get my camera adjusted here on YouTube. So settle in. If you want to have a cup of coffee, get that. And let's just breathe together today. Let's just breathe together. Thank you, Cotton Candied. Sometimes I feel unworthy of that type of adulation, but I think when somebody says something like that, like my Buddhist friends would say namaste, right? And I would just say thank you. I may feel unworthy of such positive feedback, but I'll take it and I'll memorialize it and say that's really awesome. And I would say, for saying that, I can sense you're a beautiful person too. So get really comfortable. Let's start to think about what does it mean if our spirit can connect to something divine that's bigger than us. If you're just joining, I'd love to just know where you're joining from. And I'm Pastor Paul on TikTok, and this is our weekly Hearing God moment. Just a time of mindfulness and emotional well-being. John 3:17. Many of you know John 3:16. It's talked about all the time. It's kind of a trigger verse for many. Very few quote John 3:17, which says, God did not send his son into the world to condemn the world, but that through him the world would be sozoed. Not saved, by the way. That's a bad English translation. The word is sozoed, and maybe a better translation would be the world was made whole, or was reconnected to the divine, or reconnected to God, however you want to translate that. But it wasn't about proving to us we're sinners, getting us to say a sinner's prayer, and getting us someday to heaven. It was actually about a restoration of a sense of goodness and calling and purpose. So, are you guys hearing me okay on YouTube? I'm not seeing responses on there, so I just want to make sure I'm being heard. It sounds good through my ears, but I want to make sure it sounds good to you. Let's get yourself comfortable. Yeah. All right. Some of us just can't manage adult interactions, so we'll mute that. Creativity of some people. So just start to think about where's the stress of the day, and we'll spend about the next 30 minutes or so in some mindfulness time together. Then I'll answer some questions afterward. Take deep breaths. Deep cleansing breaths this morning, and say, that thing that's bringing me anxiety, that's ahead of me today, I'm going to let it go for just a moment. Thanks, Alex, for letting me know we sound good on YouTube. Let me know where you're joining from, guys. And so, yeah, we're just going to set aside the day for the moment. Anytime as we're going through this, a thought like, oh, I have to do this today. If you want to have a pad and paper by you, or a device where you can just, I wouldn't recommend the device because then texts catch our attention, or something else, like a piece of paper where you can just write a note. Oh yeah, I have to do that. Write it on a note, then let it go from your brain. Our goal today, this morning, is just to really focus on who am I? Where am I going? Hi, Ms. Johannes. And one thing I want to say to you today, no matter what you've heard from the church over and over again, you are not a sinner. You are not born a sinner. You are not naturally inclined to sin. Yeah, do we sometimes get pulled to do things that are damaging in relationships? Usually because we're searching for something that we're not able to get in healthy means, and so we search for them in unhealthy means. Yes. But evil and naturally inclined to do evil, it's just a bad theology that's coming from Christianity that has so many traumatic and bad impactful effects. Hi, Tampa, Florida on TikTok. Good to see you, Sam. And Sam Jones is the man. I agree. So get comfortable in your seat and just start to think over yourself. I'm not a sinner. I'm not under the influence of original sin. I'm not bad. I'm not evil. I'm not dirt. I may be made up of matter, but that doesn't mean I don't matter. You matter. Hi, Marilyn. Glad you're here. Sorry, I'm trying to breathe through my nose, and I've got a stopped up nose this morning. Deep breaths. So one of the verses that I was talking about yesterday on TikTok is, I'm going to look it up right now, Psalms 51:5. Often quoted as the verse that shows we're born into sin. And it says, behold, I was brought forth in iniquity, and in sin did my mother conceive me. And people will take that one verse and use it as a model for, see, we're all born into sin. So I like to point out to people, hear what the verse says. Behold, I was brought forth in iniquity, and in sin did my mother conceive me. This is a person talking about his own life, not a universal theological truth for all mankind. In fact, if you go on to read, it says, behold, you delight in truth in the inward being, and you teach me wisdom in the secret heart. So the writer of this psalm is lamenting that he has done things that have injured relationships around him. Thank you, Christina. And we do that. And we have to own that in relationship and say, I made a mess here. Let's work on it. But I believe the writer here is saying, some of my sin goes back to the fact that I was brought forth in iniquity, and in sin did my mother conceive me. I do coaching with people all the time. And almost inevitably, there's something in them that says, I don't deserve good things. And so it's hard for me to live out of the best of myself. And when I ask, who told you you don't deserve good things? And we trace that belief system back, it's to the fact that during the formation of their identity, they were told, your needs don't matter. You don't have value. You're just a kid. You should be seen but not heard. Quiet, stop crying. Or even worse, you were born into original sin. You are evil at your core. Those are the messages we're told all the time, and particularly through the church. And the psalmist is saying here, I have done evil. And please look, when you understand the evil I've done, understand where I came from. I was brought forth in iniquity, and in sin did my mother conceive me. And if you saw my TikTok, I think what this verse is saying is David writing a lament. I do evil, and some of it is he may have been a bastard child. And people kind of laugh, but then I say, Samuel told Jesse, bring all your sons, and I'm going to anoint one of them king. And they all walked past, and God told Samuel one after the other, not him, not him, not him. And then Samuel had to look at Jesse and say, are these all your sons? And Jesse had to say, well, there is the boy in the field. And I think that was a moment where then the other sons in the room were like, what? You mean that shepherd boy David? He's your son? And Jesse had to say, yeah, he is. And in shame, Jesse said it. And in shame, he sent somebody out to get his other son. And David had to deal with the reality. Now that's extra biblical, but it's the story that I hear from so many people all the time. The pain of who they were told they were. But then David says, behold, you delight. And he's talking to God, to the divine, to the creator of the universe. Behold, you delight in truth in the inward being, and you teach me wisdom in the secret heart. David is saying, yeah, I've had a tough life and I've done some evil things, but when I sit with the divine, there's a delight in the truth that's inside of me. And when that truth interacts with the truth of heaven, wisdom comes. And that's what we're going to do today. Delight in truth in the inward being, and hear wisdom in the secret heart, in our core, in our gut. Okay? So sit comfortably. If you want to let me know where you're joining from, that just kind of helps me connect to your spirit to see your place on the screen. Oh, I love coffee. Yes, I'm addicted, and it's a beautiful addiction. Letting anxiety go, seeing where you feel anxiety in your body, letting your chest expand to get the full capacity of your breathing, Those breaths are cleansing. Wow, hi from Brazil. I'm so glad you're here. So what would be the delightful truth in your inward being today? What would be the wisdom in your secret heart? Let's concentrate on that. Have a sense of your spirit, of your spiritual part of yourself. Hi, Noah. Good morning. Hi, Alex. I hope I don't get you in trouble at work in Kansas City. There's a part of you that is spirit, that is eternal. Hi, Missouri. Good morning. Hi, Tennessee. And just have a sense of yourself as a spiritual being. It's almost like your spirit can come outside of your body and you can be a presence that's bigger than this finite container. And that spirit's going to be able to connect with the other spirits of those watching on YouTube and TikTok today, that the names and places you see on the screen. And I almost want you to imagine your spirit saying something to your physical being. And here's what I want your spirit to say over the rest of you. You are good, and you deserve good things. Now don't say you. Say over yourself, I am good, and I deserve good things. That is our delightful truth. I'm not a sinner. I'm fearfully and wonderfully made as an incredible human being. And I'm good, and I deserve good things. Even if you don't believe it, say it out loud over yourself. I am good, and I deserve good things to happen. Oh, I forgot my prayer beads this morning. My really good friend Curtis gave these to me. No, sorry, I'm not from Oklahoma. I'm from California. I like to have these during this prayer time. It just really focuses me in on what I'm saying. I am good, and I deserve good things to happen. And then breathe that in. Thank you for the follow, baby girl. So when you say I am good and I deserve good things, where does that stick? Where does that go? What is the voice that comes and says, oh, don't say that over yourself? You're dirt. You're a sinner. Your needs don't matter. Where do you feel that in your physiology? What's that voice you hear in your head? Who's telling you you're not good and you don't deserve good things? Mom, dad, pastor, relative. Hey, Jeremy, how are you? Bad theology, original sin, you're dirt, you're born evil. Hi, Sharon, good morning. I was a little bit late too. I like to do something I call break that off of you or wash that off of you. And I just want you to have a sense of your spirit. Now, that part of you that's bigger than this finite physiological container, your spirit. And I just say, I break that off of you. Mom, dad, pastor, friend, brother, sister, today, for this moment of our spirits joined together, they don't get to tell you you're not good anymore. At least for this moment of us being connected together, that voice doesn't count. What counts is what David said after, in sin did my mother conceive me. Behold, you delight in truth, in the inward being, in my spirit. You delight in truth, and you teach me wisdom in the secret heart. and begin to think about the possibilities. What if I am good? What if I'm fearfully and wonderfully made? What if I truly am seated in heavenly realms and can hear wisdom from heaven? Doesn't that make me something supernatural and amazing? What if for that work issue that I'm facing today, I can have wisdom in this inward place in my being when I sit with my spirit connecting to the divine creator of the universe? So let's do that now. Alex and Carol and Noah, Sharon, Rebecca, Sam, everybody that's here today, our spirits connected to empower us beyond ourselves and connecting to heaven. So I want you to picture yourself in a safe space in your life. Where did you go in your life at any age and sit and feel safe and feel connected to something bigger than yourself? Whether it was in nature. For some, it may have been in my bedroom or in a space in my house where I was closed off from the rest of the family or from the pain of my household. Where did you feel connected, even if you felt disconnected to humanity or people around you? For me, it was sitting on this diving board by this lake we had when I was in 8th grade. I just sit there and I can imagine myself sitting there, and I want you to imagine yourself in your safe space. And maybe that safe space is a place you've never been. It's just something you can imagine. Good morning, Sharon. So go there to that safe place, that divinely connected place. See yourself sitting there. Now I want you to picture yourself sitting with God. And God may be a little bit of a trigger for you. So I want you to think of this as that divine being or spirit or goodness that is overarching of the universe, bigger than all of us. And God can look like whatever is safe to you, whatever that divine spirit looks like that brings wholeness around you. Can you picture yourself sitting with the divine, something supernatural, God, if that's your inheritance and definition of whatever is bigger than the universe? So I want you to ask a question of that spirit. And the question is, am I good? Am I good? Ask and then listen. See if you hear some wisdom in your secret heart. Don't type it in the comments or anything yet. Just sit with it. What did you hear from God when you ask, am I good? Don't rush this moment. Sit with it. Make sure you're breathing, particularly if you tense up, if anxiety comes. Cleansing breath. Let the spiritual moment wash away that anxiety, even if just for the moment. You can grab back onto it later if you need to feel protected and safe, but let it go for this moment. Am I good? And what does God say to you? That response may be tension bringing because you think, oh, that can't be true, particularly if it's something good about you beyond your self-image. Thank you for the rose, Joe Catfish. And if you're not hearing anything, that's okay. There can be anxieties of the day or anxieties of life, or just like it's just not my day today that cause us not to hear something from heaven. And there's no condemnation around that at all. Okay, I want you to ask God one more question. Just ask, is there anything I need to know today to help me be successful in my day? Is there anything I need to know to help me be successful in my day? Ask out loud. Let your ears hear yourself asking that question of the divine spirit of heaven. Is there anything I need to know to help make me successful today? And then wait for wisdom to come in your secret heart. Deeply breathing, connected to all of the spirits of the people that are watching here and connected to the spirit of heaven. What do I need to know today? All right, one more thing we're going to say to God before we leave our safe space. And that is gratefulness. We end with gratefulness. If you read the Psalms, they will pour out anguish and pain and then finish. But to you I go because you are good, and you can be whatever the divine presence of God looks like in your life. So let's finish with gratefulness and just think of something for which you have gratitude today. It can be very simple. I had a moment when my dog came and sat with me and was so cute. And just share that gratefulness with God sitting with you. I'm so grateful for. That gratefulness will release the oxytocin in your brain, which starts to tell you, oh, I feel good. We feel good right now. So say thank you to God and then release yourself from that place. Come back to your presence. That smoke from, I didn't blow it out. Let that smoke rise to heaven. Your prayers going up. So now let's share. What did you hear from God when you were asking questions of the divine in your safe space? When you said, am I good? When you said, is there anything I need to know? What did you hear? So Deluxe Meat Sack said, I am considered good. Nothing. If I am considered good, nothing could be considered evil. What's up with that? I think that's something you need to parse through. I'm not going to define that for you. You have to determine what that means for you. Noah says, I'm grateful that I woke up and feel good no matter what. Sharon says, thank you. Sometimes what we hear is a projection from what's going on inside of us. So that could be a projection from you, and I'll let you determine that out. What did you hear? I want to hear from you. What did you hear from heaven? I heard wisdom from heaven say, You have a voice that matters. And that's really important to me because you may not believe this, but when I do TikTok content or events like this, I feel like there's always a voice, usually from one of my parents, somebody in my family, in the back of my brain saying, "Who are you? Who are you?" Thank you, Smiley, for the follow. Who are you to tell anybody anything? Because that's been the story from my household growing up. Sharon says, I think I blipped out for a second there. Sharon says, I was too busy praying for wisdom to hear the divine. Okay. Literally, Julian said, I heard silence. All right. Was the silence good? Was that a refreshing moment, or were you frustrated with the silence? Deluxe says, that's what I was thinking. Yeah, it could be that you're having a little wrestling match on the identity of God, and you may have projected that into what you heard. I'm not going to make that definition for you, but that does happen. So think about, why are you wrestling with who God is? It's good that you're wrestling with who God is. Literally, Julian says it was a good silence. Yeah, silence can be really powerful sometimes. Sarah Dawn says, he can take away my complex feelings of grief today. Complex feelings of grief. That sounds really heavy. Yeah. So I'm with you in that grief today, Sarah Dawn. I sit with you in that grief. Sam Jones says, I felt peace. Literally, Julian says, it was a silence that reaffirmed what I already deep down believed and knew was true. Affirming silence can really be good. Those of you watching this as a recording, you can share in the comments as well. What did you hear? So I heard, your voice matters and is important in this season. That was a really reaffirming thing. And I was just grateful for my wife today. I know that sometimes that's kind of cliched. Oh, I'm grateful for my family. We hear that all the time, but she's just been an amazing person in my life in this season, and I'm just very grateful. Yeah. So being present to yourself again. Thank you for sharing your spirit with me today. So I have a few more minutes to chat, not a lot, but if anybody has any questions or thoughts, you can share them now. I'm a little bit emotional from just feeling that moment today, and that's good. Those emotions are telling us what's going on inside that secret place where we had the wisdom today. I'm just not loving my hair, and just sitting here looking at myself is driving me crazy. Anybody have any questions or thoughts before we end up this morning? I have a thought that is, I'm just honored that you would spend time with me. It's just such an honor. Time is our most precious commodity. It's our most limited, and when it's gone, we can never get it back. We can never get more of it. And that you would give that time to me, that value to me, is really an honor. So I'm so grateful. Thank you. I've always believed in free will. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you, guys. Were you holding a rosary? Just I'm sorry. I just want to say thank you for everything you do on TikTok. Thank you, Mr. Jones. Blessings from Mick TDX. Thank you. Were you holding a rosary? No, they're prayer beads given to me by a friend. I'll show them to you. Yeah. And he showed me what to do, and I don't actually know what to do with them, but there's just something that helps me focus on what's going on in my spirit when I hold them. What cult do you represent? A bad hair day better than no hair day. Thank you, Sharon. I don't know. I don't know why it just is a funky hairdo today. I just want to thank you for everything you do on TikTok. Thank you. A phrase from a book I've read to my children just entered my mind. You are loved. I think that's really important to tell ourselves on an ongoing basis. Thank you for following my page, McTDX. What cult do I represent? I don't know. I'm not sure I represent a cult. Because I sit with people from all faiths and invite all of them to be with me for things like this. So if it's a cult, so be it. I'm not reaping the rewards from being that cult leader or representative. Thank you, Sharon. I understand why you're asking, though, and I do think there are very cult-like characteristics in our evangelical churches today, for sure. So I understand what you're asking. I haven't come across anything that says predetermination is a God-based idea. Yeah, I absolutely reject the idea of predetermination. If there is a God that predetermines our lives, that's not a God worth following, because that would be a pretty horrible being. In some ways, if God is omnipotent, omniscient, and omnipresent, and allows things to go on that we see, that's a pretty bad God too. So I think that there's more to this interaction of heaven and earth than the really simple definitions of evangelical Christian belief, that we settle for bad theologies because we need certainty. You should ask God for a better internet connection. I know. Or I could ask Comcast for a better internet connection. How about that? Well, one of the things I just asked God for is to get me off of one of the upstairs extenders and on our main internet circuit. So that may have helped. You should ask God for a better internet connection. You're so funny. Thank you. This brings me peace, says Sarah Dawn. I have a work call at 11. Thank you for all you do. Thank you, Sam Jones. Thank you for all of you who are following my page. If you would do me a favor and go subscribe to my Pastor Paul TikTok YouTube channel. Sunday mornings, we have a Sunday community meeting for those who have lost their community of faith. So join us for that. All that information is on my website. And if you're on TikTok or YouTube, you can find that info in my bio. I do have a Patreon page that helps support financially all of this. And again, you can find that in my bio. And I would love for you to be a part of financially supporting my for-profit work that I do. So yes, I pay taxes. So yeah. What happens when if you thought to buy a time when you thought you had? I have no idea what that means. I love the creativity. Even the trolls are beautifully creative. That was soul, body, and mind type piece. Yeah. Gumball Dragon says, I've been binging your podcast. It's helping me feel closer to God than I ever have. Wow. Thank you. Thank you. I'd love for you to send me a message of what speaks to you and like how I can do that better. I'm in a kind of a revamp of my website and things that I do. So any feedback you can give me, Gumball Dragon, either through a DM on TikTok or email through the website, comment on YouTube, any of that would be really helpful. I would appreciate it so much. But thank you for binging my podcast. That makes me feel grateful today. Love you guys. It's just such an honor. It's like I said, heaven had to tell me today, your voice matters, because sometimes I'm just like, why would anybody listen to me? And I have family. My family is telling me, why would anybody listen to you? You're going to hell. And so all of us have to overcome those things. Hi, Dodger. How are you? That's why it's important to say, bullshit, I'm not born into original sin. Psalm 51:5 doesn't say that at all. And when you put that on me, you're totally disregarding the rest of the psalm. It's evangelical picking and choosing of the Bible. And let's go with 51:6 that says, you, God, delight in the truth in the inward being, and you teach me wisdom in the secret heart. Deluxe Meat Sack says, I think you're great. I question if God exists at all, but you seem like a wonderful person. Oh, thank you. I love that. And I question if God exists at all. I heard one of the TikTok reverends the other day when he was on my podcast, Rev Brandon, who I really like a lot. He calls himself an agnostic because he says, I'm a follower of Christ, but I really don't know what or who or what God is. I think that's a brilliant statement. I think the Bible even says God is bigger than what we can imagine or conceive. So to say God is a patriarchal male human leader sitting on a throne, soaking in the worship of these beings around him 24/7 is to limit God into a finite definition of the human mind. I believe there is something supernatural out there, something divine, something bigger than the universe that my spirit can interact with. But it certainly doesn't have to be the Christian definition of God at all. So thank you for your very kind comments. That anybody would say, man, I'm not sure I agree with your religious thought, but I think you're okay. That's such a great compliment. Thank you. It's really kind of you. That made my day. I think my family thought my rejection of toxic ideology was strange for a while. Are they coming around on it, literally, Julian? If they are, you're welcome. Bless you. I've never heard such blatant honesty. Much respect to you. And to you. And to you. People that disagree are not often so kind to one another. So thank you. Blessings to you. Sharon says God has many faces. Yeah, they are, honestly. Well, literally, Julian, that is awesome. Makes me a little bit jealous because mine is not. But I'm so happy for you. That's an amazing story. Really a miraculous story in this season. All right, guys, I'm going to have to wrap it up and go. Again, follow my TikTok page, subscribe to my YouTube channel, check out my podcast, and join us Sunday morning for our Sunday community. And if you would be so inclined to check out my Patreon page and be a Patreon financial supporter, that would be amazing. You guys are great. I am privileged to know you and hang out with you. Have a good day. So we'll see you guys later on TikTok and YouTube. I love you. Bye-bye.